What's going on, y'all? This is the young man Nuke, and you're rocking with me in Fresh Radio. Hold on, let me do this over again. What's going on, world? I am your host, the young man Nuke, and this is Fresh Radio, where I bring you family, revolution, edutainment, spirituality, health, and hip hop all in one show. Listen, I'm, you know, I'm getting used to doing this on a daily basis at this point, and I like that I can come here and I can have something different to say every day because I just live that type of life. I don't have to make up stories. I don't have to pander. I don't have to incite anger or incite confusion and confrontation. When anytime I get on here and I communicate, I stick to the script. Family, revolution, edutainment, spirituality, health, and hip hop. You dig? Like that's what it is. And I am a hip hop artist, and I really don't talk about music like that, but I do play a lot of music from hip hop artists. I do have interview a lot of hip hop interviews, people, managers. I do consultations for hip hop people. I help hip hop peoples to get music or verses from Holy Toledo Productions. .com. Go there, check it out. And I like what I do. I really do. This is a part of the program. You dig? I had an awesome interview last night with Aaliyah from Boss Movement Clothing. My bad. I just wanted to make sure I was shouting her out correctly because yeah, But yeah, interview was dope. Interview should be up in a day or so, and I boss behavior. I knew it wasn't boss movement. I really did. My bad, Leah. I promise you, I'll get you a cookie or something. But yeah, no, bossbehaviorclothing.com. Go there, check it out. Interview is going to be up this weekend. I'm able to touch lives doing what I do just by my vocal patterns being the way they are. So, I like doing this. I really do. And it's only evolving the more that I do it. I'm still going to possibly do my weekend thing on the Sunday. But, at this point, I'm just trying to get my, not even that I'm trying, I am getting my new situation together and carving out my lane the best way that I know how. And I already have my own lane, but I'm carving it out for me personally. And what that basically means is I'm carving out my routine. We'll say it that way, because I am doing this, but I'm just doing it. I know that I want to be able to just be more consistent with what I do. And the hardest part for me is man, if I'm adding too much or if I'm taking away too much. And sometimes I take away too much to the point that it's still the original ingredients. And then sometimes I add too much to it, and then I don't even feel like completing the task because I know it's not going to come out the way that I wanted it to. But in that same breath, whether I just throw the original ingredients at the wall or if I throw the overly indulged ingredients at the wall, it's still something that you probably haven't heard before. And I'm really taking away from my situation by doing that. So yeah, I need to stop that. I definitely do. So moving forward, that's just where I'm at with it right now. I really want to make sure that I am having the best time doing what I do. I want to be able to tap onto the family, revolution, edutainment, spirituality, health, and hip hop. At least two of those things. Was that family, revolution, edutainment, health, and hip hop? That's 5. 6. Well, I don't know. Health, hip hop. Either way, I want to touch at least about like 2 to 3 of those things. Every time I touch a base on here, and I keep stressing that I'm a single dad, so I do want to talk about my family. And one thing I want to talk about currently, because I'm in the process of doing it, I want to talk about, man, health. I guess so. Look, family and health. Listen, we have to be able to not only take care of ourselves, but we have to be able to take care of our family. And with that being the case, it's hard out here to get the things that we need to be in a position to take care of our families. And it's just one me. And it just so happens that my free time has been freed up tremendously so that I'll be able to put myself into a position to where I can do these things. But in the same breath, when I don't have this time to think for myself, everything seems to mesh together, and I want to be able to be the best parent that I can. I don't know. I probably said that wrong, but I just want to be the better parent. I know there's things that come up that don't allow me to put my best parental foot forward. But in the same breath, I know there are. I mean, it's a challenge. It's just a challenge to be able to show up for my children on all levels. Like I was in the middle of see, look, the spirituality's popping up. I was in the middle of a card reading by my dear friend, and she was giving me this card reading, and then I got a call from the school in the middle of the card reading, and it was my daughter talking about an Easter egg hunt for the Girl Scouts. She's a Girl Scout, and I'm a Dad Scout. I think that's how it works. But or I'm a Girl Scout dad or something like that. Either way, I got a T-shirt coming, so I'll take a picture of it. But yeah, so there's an Easter egg hunt on the 20th, and I got to show up for that. And it's not that I got to show up for that. I will show up for that because I want to show up for my children in the best way possible, and however way possible. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot when there's opposition. It takes a lot when there's someone who's actively going against that, and I navigate. Just like how my card reading came out today. My card reading was so beautiful, dog. It was so beautiful. It was. Thank you to... I'm gonna get her name together. I don't want to give her government name. Y'all don't need to know all that. But she's I'm gonna get her on the show one day, and we're gonna go do this and make it all the way official, like a military missile. Came out that I'm divinely protected, and I don't have to pressure or have to worry about the things that are going on, occurring in my life. I just have to continue to show up and be me, and continue to speak positivity over my life and my situation and in my mind, and release. And she told me I got to balance off into my feminine a little bit more than I have, and I'm like, man, listen, I don't know what that means, man, but I got to figure that part out too. I'm taking care of myself, man. This is my second day in a row at the gym, and I'm getting tight again. You dig? And that's a beautiful thing. Need to I just been doing chest, abs, and have I did my back on my shoulders and my shoulders. Been doing my chest and my shoulders. I think I have a problem. I think I strained a muscle back in August, so it's healing up slowly, approaching that grand age of 40, and I just need to get myself together and take my vitamins and things like that. I need to set up a doctor's appointment so I can get my my health together. That's just it. I want to be on the right track when I'm moving into this 40 realm, and I'm keeping my mind clean and making sure that not only am I showing up for myself, that I'm also showing out for myself. I don't typically need something outside of me to help me. There's always the external factor, and I don't want to rely on the external factors. I want to, not saying that I will not receive help or accept help, but I want to help myself inwardly, and that would show out outwardly. So I'm just working on me. I'm working on the things that I have going on that I feel are just making me a little bit sloth. We'll say it that way. Yeah, making me a little bit slow, making me not have to show up for myself. I put myself in the back burner for a lot of things, and I need to practice and show up for the self care. I need to self care myself more. I don't do that a lot. I try to make sure that my children do the self care, and I need to take care of myself before I can even allow them to experience what self-care is for themselves. Like my not my baby boy, but my middle child, he just refuses to brush his teeth, and I don't know why. I know a lot of parents go through this, but like I don't know why he refuses to brush his teeth. But like that's something that you need to do, baby boy. You need to get up on there and brush your teeth. So I need to set these examples. I put a lot of pressure under myself to do not only just that, but just to show up, and maybe I don't need to put that pressure on myself. Everybody got their own life, but I'm here to be a guiding light to the life of my children. So, that's just one of my stresses, one of my struggles as a father, as a parent, and, just moving like that. In the process of setting appointments, I'm also going to be getting into therapy. Man, listen to me. I don't know if I ever talked about therapy on the show before, but like, yeah, I know that I am personally going to be getting a therapist pretty soon, within the following weeks, and it's something that I've been told that I need to get a counselor or a therapy since I was like 16 years old. I've had all type of things happen to me in my life. I've been shot at. I've been arrested. I've been beat up by the police. I've been fondled by the police. I ain't even gonna hold you up. I've been sexually molested as a child, male and female. Like, it's crazy. I've seen people die. I've seen people get murdered. I've seen people get killed. I've seen just terrible things that have occurred in my life, and this is all before I turned 21. All of those things happened before I turned 21, between the ages of 9 and 21. Yeah. So like I've just been I don't say a victim. Like that. I claim that I'm a victim of domestic abuse. But like, other than that, like I don't claim being a victim. These are just occurrences that I went through in my life that have shaped and defined who I am, and I just have to adjust and maintain this positive image and positive outlook, and just continue to speak and promote positively, and don't dwell on the woulda, shoulda, couldas, and more so focus on the things that I can control at this point. So yeah, I think therapy will help me to move forward in that with someone who has a they know what they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you that this is what it is. But in the same breath, I know that I need to address certain issues that I have. There's things that I know I've went through and that have occurred that I should be able to I don't want to say manifest, but like I should be able to just take better control over and rock with it like that. So it's a journey. And I'm on this ship. I'm on the good ship, Jesus, you dig? And we're gonna see where that lands us. I also let me tell y'all this, man. If a lot of y'all don't know, I sell insurance. I sell all the types of insurance. Currently I'm doing the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare, as a lot of people call it. But I love to sell Medicare, 65 and up, not to be confused with Medicaid, women, children, and what's the word? Indigent, broke people, poor people, people that are insufficiently funded. Medicaid. I don't do Medicaid, but I love to do Medicare, 65 and up and disabled people. Those are people who've been through the ringer of life, and they're at a place where the government has given us this these funds to take care of. And you get to talking to these people, and they have lived a life, and they have experienced a life, and they got a lot to say. Once you reach about 50, even like let's just say once you reach about 45, 50 years old, you get to see in life through a different lens. And then once you reach about 60, 65 years old, that lens becomes a little bit clearer. Once you reach about 70, 75 years old, that's when you have to add those bifocals to your lenses. And we're not talking physical, we're talking third eye, you dig? And you get to looking at things a little bit differently, a little bit clearer, but then you be like, this is really what it is. And then you have to try to relate that to people, but you don't have a chance to relate that to some people because they don't care. So I talk to people about their medications, and it's just sad that we live in a country that people of any age, they don't have access to the things that they need and the things that will help them be better. We live in a society where they will prescribe you with metformin before they tell you to lose weight. Exercise, diet, change your diet. So it's sad. And then we also live in a society where there is medications that cost tens of thousands of dollars. Yes. And if you don't have insurance, you'll die. So that's I like dealing with Medicaid because I get to change and affect people's lives in that way, because I try to help people. I really do. But I say all that to say this. Even though I'm doing the Obamacare currently, which is the marketplace, which is for anybody who can afford insurance that is under the age of 65. I just was reached out to someone today on an appointment that I didn't realize I set. And she told me about trying to get back into Medicaid or Medicare, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I really do. I want to pursue that Medicare thing. So, if anybody out there listening, if you got some Medicare questions, you got insurance questions, period, whether it be dental, whether it be vision, whether it be life insurance, whole life, term life, or even health questions, I can try to help you the best I can. I don't think I'll do that live. You just have to inbox me on any one of those social media sites I be telling y'all about, NUKNOE. Get at me. I don't think YouTube has a a DM. I don't think they have a DM. But even if you just drop a comment, we'll figure it out from there. And I'll try to address you as best as possible. We can set up some type of consultation, and we'll go over some things for you. And just so that you be more aware. That's one thing that I noticed, though, for real. Ever since I've been doing this insurance thing, I came into the insurance game completely ignorant. I didn't have any idea about how insurance worked. And now that I'm educated, because I'm definitely educated, man, I pay so much money every year just to be educated. But now that I'm educated, I realize that there are people out here on the planet that have no clue how insurance works. Way worse than I did. Some people don't know what a deductible is. Some people don't know what a premium is. Some people don't know what a copayment is. And those are the three main things that go into insurance. Those, you just need to know about those things in general. So I have been blessed enough to be able to decipher and break those things down. So yeah, man, if you have questions, comments, concerns about your coverage, or if you're looking for coverage, just let me know. Holla at me. I'm all about it. I really am. I love doing what I do because I'm able to affect people's lives to a degree that changes their lives. I've talked to people who their parents died and didn't leave them anything, so they don't want to do that to their children. So I've sold them policies as far as life insurance is concerned. I've talked to people who could not get any type of medication before until they came over to the company that I was working with, and I was able to get them something that was relatively inexpensive. I've talked to people who just didn't know what was going on, and they just wanted more clarity on what was happening and how to move forward and navigate through this system. So I welcome anyone who is feeling vulnerable to get in contact with me. We can go like that. I just I really, like I said, I don't want to stress time. I don't want to be like, oh, I gotta do 30 minutes, I gotta do an hour. No, I just want to get out here and I just want to deliver the message, deliver the things that are going on with me, that I'm dibbling and dabbling with, and that I am I just want to get out here and deliver the message on the daily, and I just want to make sure it's a little bit different. That's why this isn't the format, but this is part of the format. That's why I'm going to get back to doing the Sunday shows, the Sundays at 8, and because I feel that's necessary. I feel that having the overall gist and theme for the month gives you something to look forward to. You want to know what my thoughts and what my man, what is it? I just want to know what my thoughts is towards a certain subject, and and that also gives a form of uniformity. You dig? So I that's not going nowhere. It's just that I'm not right there. I'm not in that space at this point right now to make and contribute to that. But I will. I definitely will, and that's not going anywhere, because honestly that was how I started Fresh Radio. I started Fresh Radio by giving a monthly topic and then going in for 3 to 4 shows, or maybe even 5 shows depending on the weeks, once a week or a couple times a week. I had a newsletter. I'm going to get my newsletter back together. I don't know if I want to do it monthly or if I want to do it weekly or whatever I do, but I definitely want to get my newsletter back together. The webpage is up, nuknoe.com. You can find me, all of my links at nuk.link, and go there and check out everything. Definitely doing some fundraising, so go check out the poetry book, Drawn Poetically. That's on that's on my website. It's definitely on my website, and it's on the link. It's on Gumroad. It's right along there with the royalty collection guide for all my musicians out there who have no idea about royalties. Just go out there and hit that up on Fiverr. You dig? If you want to get on the radio show, if you want to get on Fresh Radio and get your interview on, I appreciate you, Leah. I definitely do. bossbehavior.com. Go there. I want you to go sit there, and I think I'm going to be booking another artist that I was in touch with couple years ago. They got some more music coming out, and I'm going to actually, once I get my stuff together, I'm going to actually start getting back into playing music again. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I got some things plugging up, but like I was saying, going to Fiverr for if you want to get on the radio show, if you need a consultation, or even if you want a music verse from me. If you're an artist out there and you're looking for a verse from me, the young man, I'm actually dropped my price to $250 for an exclusive verse that you own. We can talk contracts and splits and everything like that afterwards, but $250, and then you can do whatever you want with it. If not, then you can mixtape the verse for $100. For sure we'll do that. I probably will not run that summer verse for $100, but we'll it's just whatever it is. Exclusive, and that's it for the exclusive. It's typically $500. So, we'll go from there. And holla at me. Yeah, I gotta go do some things right now, so gotta bear with me. I'm sorry that. NUKNOE at all the social medias. Follow me, the young man Nuke. Man, this has been smooth, and I appreciate everyone that's out there listening to me for Fresh Radio. We bring you the family revolution, edutainment, spirituality, health, and hip hop all in one show. I think I probably touched on all of those this particular show. I might need to continue or consider doing that some more. Yeah. Man, y'all be smooth. Peace.